You're watching WJLA 24/7 News. Good Morning Washington. On your side.
7:08 right now, and as the impeachment hearings wrap up, Russia expert Fiona Hill warns against accepting a fictional narrative on Ukraine. Take a listen.
Some of you on this committee appear to believe that Russia and its security services did not conduct a campaign against our country, and that perhaps, somehow, for some reason, Ukraine did. This is a fictional narrative.
And Hill went on to say the impact remains today and that our nation is being torn apart. And this comes as the impeachment inquiry now heads to the Judiciary Committee before a possible House vote and a possible Senate trial. We bring in political insider Armstrong Williams right now to discuss all of this. My goodness, what a week, huh? Crazy week. So the testimony from Fiona Hill yesterday, she criticized Republicans for spreading what she called conspiracies. How effective was her testimony?
It depends upon what side of the aisle you're on. The fact that she could only criticize Republicans as the culprit and not criticize Democrats tell us that she's in the tank with Schiff and the Democrats. I mean, I've never seen diplomats and veterans so maligned by lawmakers, people who've served this country. I think not just her testimony, I think what is most important is what Sondland had to say, who is the president's own ambassador, who he appointed in that position. He did say he did not see it as a quid pro quo. But I think
first he said it was, then he backtracked on that.
That's what happens when you're cross-examined. And then when the Republicans talk to him in the Senate, then it'll be something else. But I gotta tell you, I don't think it's gonna make it to the Senate. I just think that the Democrats have gotten exactly what they wanted. They've got a hearing from the House Intelligence Committee to show that without any doubt the president engaged in this kind of behavior, that the president feels he's above the law. And let me admit something. Let me admit this, okay? As an everyday citizen, not as some broadcast owner, do I believe what Sondland said? Do I believe the president engaged in these activities? Absolutely. I have no doubt that the president is capable of this behavior. Whether this behavior rise to an impeachable offense is a different story. I don't think Pelosi has the votes with House Democrats if she recommends this to the House Judiciary Committee. They voted out a committee for impeachment. I don't think it's going to happen. And Mitch McConnell has made it clear that it's dead on arrival. You're not going to find 6 or 7 senators that's going to vote against it. You saw the president meeting with Susan Collins, Mitt Romney, at a lunch at the White House this week. He's cozying up and it's not just because the president wanted this. Mitch McConnell has told Collins and Romney, sit down and talk to the president, come to some understanding, because what they're trying to do is get them on board. Because remember, in the House, there was no Republican that voted for this to go forward. There would be no Senate if it goes to the Senate. There would not be one Senate vote that would vote against the president for impeachment. He won't be impeached, but again, I think Pelosi will not risk losing the House and losing her speakership over this impeachment proceeding. But is there any doubt about whether the president said this? I don't think there's any doubt in anybody's mind. Is this what we should be bogged down at this time with, talking about impeachment proceedings and everything else that's going on in the world? Listen, deal with what you're going to do with the president. If you're going to impeach him, impeach the president, but we need to move on to bigger and more important issues.
All right, I also want to ask you about another big story this week, the Democratic debate, the 5th one that they had. 10 of the candidates up there on the stage, and of course that list will be whittled down to about 6 for the next debate come next month. What are the big takeaways from the Wednesday night debate? You know,
Buttigieg obviously has a huge grasp of the issues. Obviously he's very bright. He has a very common sense approach. I think the senator from Minnesota acquitted herself very well during the debate. You know, it's interesting. I think that even with Joe Biden talking about the issue of legalization of marijuana, Melanie, and the way Cory Booker sort of attacked him and asked him whether he was high, I think many people are revisiting this issue of legalizing marijuana. When you look at places like Colorado and what has come about as a result of these young kids being depressed, the suicide rate, I think it's an issue that we have to revisit. I don't think as many Americans are as enamored and enthusiastic about legalizing marijuana as Cory Booker and others may think. I think Biden showed a lot of maturity, a lot of common sense, and he's not gone to the extreme. And it's also, he reaffirmed to them, I am the front runner. No matter what any of you say, Buttigieg, any of you say on the stage, I'm the front runner. You got to beat me, and you've not shown that you can do that yet.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Very busy week in politics. We thank you for coming in today, Armstrong Williams, and you can watch the Armstrong Williams Show. It airs every Saturday morning at 10:30, right here on WJLA 24/7 News. And right now, your time 7:13, and coming up, some scary moments in the air. Hear from passengers who saw this fiery scene right outside their window.